Assalamu alaikum everyone. Happy Monday. So, this is a topic that is a little bit big and I'm going to try to shove it in one big episode. I've gotten a few requests for this. I have a few ideas from my own family about this. So, inshallah, this will be good for all of us. So, if you're in school, been in school, have been in school, all that, you'll pretty much relate to this. So, my main discussion here is about your career, about where you are going to go to school, your academic validation. This is really about success in this world, and having your parents compare to one another. It's just going to be around that whole little broad spectrum of school and parents, and hopefully benefit someone. I want to start off by saying I'm not trying to attack nobody in this, but this is something you sometimes need to hear really harsh words to open up your perspective on things. So yeah, I think one of the biggest mistakes that we have all collectively been a part of is the fact that we have all made it seem like the purpose of birth is so this child that is just now born can become like the next great doctor, can become like the next great lawyer. And it's just the same four fields. And we have made it seem like the whole purpose of a child is for them to make money. And that, it's messed up. And I know some people may feel shocked hearing this from me because I'm big on school. But here's the thing. It's a different thing. Being big on school is a different thing. Feeling like your only purpose is to make money. Human beings are so much more than just being born to make money. And it's kind of sad because a lot of parents actually have a really big control in this. Their kids are born and 2 days later they're thinking about how they're going to become the next doctor. Your kids are born and 4 days later you are having this idea that this kid's going to go to an Ivy League school and that this kid has to pay you back. And one thing that I'm so against, and I'm actually going to talk about this as well, is the fact that some parents kick out their kids when they're 18. And this is something that I'm also going to touch base on, and I know I'm going to get so much controversial hate for this, but I don't even care, bro. It is what it is. I'm going to get to that in a bit. So a lot of us parents, they've made it seem like the only purpose of having a kid is so your kid can become successful, so your kid can have a good career, and after they have a good career, that's it. Like, they repay you for the fact that you raised them, they make money, and that's all that matters. People have made it a psychological problem on two routes. Route one, where you tell your kid that if they're not successful, this is the all and be all, and you're gonna hate them forever. And then two, your kid ends up falling into so much pressure that they completely go off the wrong path. And I'm talking like drugs and whatnot. Like, they are off on the wrong path of life. And then we got that one kid, the other path, where the kid's literally going psycho and needs academic validation to believe that they're a good person. I know people who look at themselves in the mirror and one day they're 100 because they got 100 on their test and they're smart, and then the next day they're a 48 because they got a 48 and then they're considered dumb and they view themselves as dumb. And that's the problem. Y'all have made it seem like academic and these school grading standard systems, the standard system that's applied to everybody, apparently defines every single human being, which was created differently. And it's funny because I've noticed this time and time again in school and all these places. They preach how different you are, how creative you are, how you're unique, and how you're like this, and how you should think outside the box. Yet y'all be shoving everybody in one box. You be shoving everybody to do the exact same thing. You shove everyone to take the same test, same standards, same everything. And then you guys wonder where all these kids went missing. How did their creativity go? Why are they all depressed? Why are they suicidal? I don't know, man. Look at the fact that you have all these kids shoved up in one box and they're suffocating for dear life. And this is what happens. They do this in school, then the kids come home and they deal with this at home. And this is the problem. Y'all have made it seem like the only link between a new life being born is for the fact that it needs to make money to become successful. Parents are so concerned about how their kid is going to, brighten up their name and, give them all this glory on this earth. I think you're forgetting that your child can be the reason you get to heaven. Your child can literally be the reason you get to Jannah, bro. If you raise them right, you keep them on their deen, you teach them the importance of Islam and Allah and, all this good stuff. Your child can be the reason you get to heaven. I'm for real, bro. I'm so for real. And that's the thing. Y'all be forgetting about that because you feel like the afterlife is like far away and like it isn't here yet and doesn't matter right now. I feel like you're forgetting that you could die right now. You have made your kids so psychologically obsessed with believing that their grades is the only thing that defines them, that now you're shocked when your kid is going through it, when your kid's suicidal, when your kid has gone on drugs. Like, that's the problem. We don't look enough at what we do. I probably should have mentioned this earlier that I'm 17. I'm not a parent, but it's quite evident. And you don't need to be a parent to understand when bad parenting happens in certain areas. Like, I can't speak on everything, but I can definitely speak on the fact that some of y'all are psychologically pressing your kid to the point where they find it hard to live in their own body. And that is when it becomes a problem. If your kid is feeling like they're suffocating in their own soul, in their own body, they want nothing to do with their own selves, all because you've put this belief in them that all that matters right now, the only thing that matters in their life is what they're going to become, You've created such a big problem, and that's the problem. We raise all of our kids, all the people that I know. Y'all all live in this perception thinking that I'm growing old and I'm doing all this just because one day I'm going to become a doctor. You're living for this future that you don't even know if you're going to reach. And you've completely abandoned your dean. You've completely abandoned what you're meant to be on. All because you're so worried about what you're going to be 10 years from now, when you're not even promised to live 10 years. And that's the problem. Then the next topic comes down to comparison, because now when your parents see that there's someone else around you that does better than you, and this is about self-comparison. I also did self-comparison in my life. There's no reason for you to compare yourself to anybody else. And if you're a parent, I know that I was looking at my analytics the other day. There's actually some older people listening to this, and there has to be one parent out there who's listening to this. If you're a parent, please don't ever compare your kids to anybody. And the funny part is, all parents, they know this, they hear this, they know about it, they know their kids don't like being compared, but they'll continue to do it because they feel like it's the right way to apply a healthy amount of pressure to your kids to make them do what's right. If you're telling me that kid A is doing so good in school and I'm not gonna give a crap, because I know I'm working as hard as I can. And that's the problem. Parents are not acknowledging how hard their kids are working. Hence, they feel the need to apply pressure on their kids by comparing them to other kids. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. I know so many friendships that have broken off simply because the parents compared the kids to one another, and that caused so much competition. Life is not a competition, first of all. Should have mentioned that earlier as well. Life is not a competition. You can try to make it seem like it is. You can try to make it seem like it's the all and be all biggest thing in the world. It's not. I've met people who've compared their struggles to mine. They're like, oh my God, I've lived such a harder life than you. Like, okay, go ahead. I'm not going to argue with you on that, because life is not a competition. I'm here trying to become better than I was yesterday, and that's the only thing that really matters. As I was saying earlier, if your parents don't compare you, some kids start to naturally compare themselves to other kids. And this is where I want to talk to really the kids my age on this. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Ever. Ever. You're not going to get anything from comparing yourself to anyone else. Ever. Every single person is going to go to their own place in life, their own destination, their own journey, their own everything. You don't have a say in that. None of that is your business. Not one of that matters to you. You can compare yourself so much, but you need to realize that in long term, comparison kills an individual. It does. I've seen it. It kills an individual, bro. You forget who you are. You forget what you're working for. You forget your purpose. Your purpose becomes to become better than the next person. That's why you shouldn't compare yourself. I think there's actually a beautiful hadith on this, how you shouldn't want what someone else has unless they're a lot more pious and righteousness than you. So really, the topic comes down to deen. You see someone following Islam so correctly, you want to be like that too. That's different. But I'm talking, if you're comparing yourself to something worldly, academically, there's no point. There's nothing that you can't do that that person can do, and vice versa. You're capable of doing everything. And the day you realize that is the day you're going to stop comparing yourself to kids and stop comparing yourself to other people, because your success is not determined by their range of success. Your success is determined by what Allah has decreed for you and how hard you work for it. So yeah, if there's any parents listening to that, please don't compare your kids. Please. Bro, funny story. I know this one. Should I call him out? Should I say something? Okay, I'm just saying, I've known some parents. And I think this is like every Arab, Middle Eastern parent ever. And I've seen it on TikTok. I've known some personal experiences as well, where their kids would come home with a 98 and their parents were like, what's the other 2 points? Like, why do y'all say stuff like that? Why? This is the problem. You guys always expect so much. And then when you do get 100, they're like, oh, well, you should have done that anyway. Your kid is not obligated to fulfill your requirements. Your kid is obligated to do whatever he can in his best ability. This is the problem. You get a 99 and your parents are like, oh, where's the other point go? I don't know, bro. Like, I tried my best. And that's the thing. If you know your kid is trying the best in every single thing that they do, you have absolutely no right to sit there and pressure them. Not one. Not one. And if you are, I'm sorry, but that's horrible. Don't do that. If you know that your kid's slacking and your kid does not give one crap about what's going on, then I guess it makes sense to kind of apply a little bit of pressure on them and tell them to get their work done. But you're not in a position to compare yourself to compare your kid to anyone else. You don't know how your kid feels at the end of the day when they lay down at bed and realize that today they're worth a 66 because that's what they got on a test, and you told them that academic validation defines them. So please look into that and realize, oh my people, your grades don't matter. Your grades are not going to come with you to the grave. The only degree that's going to come with you to the grave is what you do Islamically. If you try to become a hafiz and memorize the Quran, whatever you do, that is what's going to follow you. Nothing else. Stop worrying so much. Stop panicking so much. Stop comparing yourself to people so much. You are capable of doing amazing things, and the day you stop comparing yourself to people is the day you'll realize that. And for my older people listening to this, stop comparing your kids to other people. Don't do it. And the funny part is a lot of parents grow up being hated comparing to someone else, and then they compare their kids as well. I'm sorry, y'all. I just messed up. But you get my point. Don't compare yourself ever. Allah has made you the way that you are for a purpose and for a reason. And when you dull your light by comparing yourself to someone else, you're defeating your own purpose. Why'd you want to ruin your own purpose, girl? You got a purpose. Live through it. Live to it. All of that good ish. I hope you all have such a great day. And inshallah, this was beneficial to someone.